1 second. There you go. Have a good meeting.
Thank you, Seth. The Scituate Beach Commission is committed to providing an environment of respect during meetings. We ask all members to interact in a polite manner, even when there is disagreement. We value the participation of our community and want all participants, including marginalized and minoritized communities, to feel welcomed and respected. We ask our committee members and all who participate to commit to these standards to support and respect our community. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Do I have a motion to accept the agenda?
Motion to accept agenda.
So moved by Kate. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Rich. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0, 4-0. I can't tell if Chris is voting or not. So I hope everyone had a chance to review the minutes from July. Do I have a motion to accept them?
Motion to accept minutes.
Motion by
Second.
Rich, second by Kate. Awesome. So next up is the election of the board. And that's because no one's taking notes at the minutes. I mean, taking minutes at the time, right? So is anyone interested in the clerk position? Before we just...
Wait, I'm happy. I don't know if I call it interest, but I'll do it.
It looks like Chris is maybe switching his audio, so maybe we should give him a second to introduce himself.
Yep, and Chris is still on the phone. So Chris, if you want, you do look like you're connected on the there you go. Chris, you should be able to unmute yourself.
Yep, I'm on. Sorry, guys.
Great.
No worries.
Well, welcome, Chris.
Thank you. My computer keeps restarting on me. I'm like jumping from one device to another.
Well, thank you for being here.
It wouldn't be a Zoom meeting without some technical issues.
Right.
Sorry you got the short end tonight.
Oh, that's all right.
All right, so we're going to move to the election of the board. And so for clerk, I nominate Rich Beekman. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Katie. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
So motion carries 4-0. For vice chair, I would like to nominate Kate Dahlstrom. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Rich. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yep.
Motion carries 4-0. Chair,
I would like to nominate Kelly for chair, remaining chair, please, and thank you.
Second.
seconded by Rich. All in favor?
Aye.
Right.
Motion carries 4-0. So Rich, you'll be taking the notes for this meeting and working with Kathleen Gardner to post the agenda. And I just had to do that. It's really no big deal. You just email it to her and she's good to go. So just have to remember it. Coastal management update. I regret that Corey's not with us, so we won't be having that. Cleanups. We had a great cleanup last Saturday at Museum Beach. We had 11 in attendance, including our select board liaison, Susan Harrison. So that was cool.
Mhm.
And the kids were really into it. They either brought their own grabbers, Susan's kids had their own grabbers, or couldn't wait to get them like Adeline. So that was
Yes,
really cool.
the best part.
And we found a lot of trash, really. It was a very heavy bag by the end. Mostly clothing, shoes, alcohol containers. It's definitely a party center. But I think we left it in really good shape. And so then our next up is October 14th at Hummerock.
Yeah, I can give some updates there. So yeah, to echo your comment about museum, I was actually quite surprised at how much junk there was, mostly in the dunes. It's clear some of it is unintentional wash up and some of it is people tossing things in the dunes. So I was disappointed actually at how much we found, because it's such a small beach compared to what we had at Minot and others. I was a little taken aback, but now I know. The Hummerock, I've been engaging with Anne from the South Hummerock Civic Association, who has expressed interest in coordinating efforts for the cleanup in October. I was sharing with Kelly at the cleanup that for next year, the schedule, it might be wise for us to move Hummerock closer to the midsummer point, maybe even after the 4th of July, partly because we know it's a big 4th of July celebration. But it occurred to me in speaking with Anne that a lot of Hummerock is seasonal, which we all know, but she felt like maybe we'd have a better turnout during the summer when there's more folks there versus in October. But there are definitely year-round residents that she can engage and is happy to support us. I have an email out to her asking whether the support will be in manpower or manpower plus like provision donations in terms of food and water and that type of thing, like Funtastics did for us at the Sandhills cleanup. And I'll wait to hear back on that. I also have engaged with Michaela, who works at Funtastics, but has expressed interest in sponsoring another cleanup in some way with her new tutoring studio as sort of a corporate sponsorship, as we did again previously at Sandhills. I have an email out to her. I need to follow back up. Haven't heard back, so I'll work to do that over the next week or so to firm up those details so that we can put what we need to on the flyer for
I
December.
had an exciting instant message from the high school environmental club. They
Ooh.
are back together and they have 2 motivated co-presidents, one that I've known from past cleanups. He's the one that wrote to me. So they're going to be
Awesome.
around for both the October 14th and then 11/4, which we'll talk about more when
That's
we get
great
to
news.
grass planting.
And Kelly, where do we stand with the transition of the contact from Mulaney's from Andrea for
I'm
the
saving that
I feel
until we
like the
get to,
November one is like the culmination of all the things.
I'm going to save that until we get to
Mulaney's
beach grass planting.
yeah,
So that's coming
okay.
up.
Perfect.
Anything else on the Museum Beach cleanup or the Hummerock cleanup? I hope everybody can be at Hummerock. I think it's going to be a good one. Chris, do you do any cleanups? Do you have any interest in beach cleanups? What's your...
Yeah, I was planning on going to the last one. We ended up going to the BC football game though. But I think the October 14th game or 14th will work for me. So
Great.
yeah, I'd like to be there. I got a couple kids that I can bring that they like to pick things up anyway. So might as well put them to work on trash.
Great.
My 5-year-old and her little friend found lots of treasures the last
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Lots of new things.
Yeah.
For better or for worse.
Maybe don't tell them everything that they found.
All right, so we'll move into beach reports. And before we start talking about them, I'd like to explain to Chris that we all just sort of monitor a beach or two. Keep an eye on trash, keep an eye on things basically to make sure, you know, things are what they're supposed to be. So right now, we have a couple beaches open for reports, and that's Sandhills and Minot or Sandhills. Would either of those appeal to you for a sort of monthly check, observe?
And Hummerock, Kelly, I think, right? Because I'm gonna switch just because I can't get there.
Yes, you're
Right.
right.
I don't mind keeping museum and taking Sandhills. They're next to each other, so I'm happy to take both of those.
I can do
yes.
mine in Hummerock.
You'd like to do Hummerock?
Yeah.
Great. Awesome.
Chris, where are you located? Are you close to did I just hear you say, oh, you said Minot or Hummerock? I thought you said mine at Hummerock. I was like, oh, Hummerock?
Yeah, no, so I'm on 3A right at the circle, basically.
Oh.
Scituate Trail.
Yeah, okay. You're
Yeah.
near me. Cool. I'm at Walnut Tree Hill area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, cool. Fantastic.
Great. All right. So for the reports, Anyone want to go first?
Well, museum, I think we talked about a bit already, right? With the cleanup, we left it in good shape. Everything's tidy there now. But again, surprised at the volume of trash, particularly alcohol containers. So that's definitely something to watch.
Another thing, they finally installed the dune protection signs at the museum. So that was nice to see. I haven't checked on Peggotty, but maybe Rich has noticed.
Yeah,
Go
they've had those all season. The dune protection sign.
Oh, they
At
weren't
Peg-
up as in July.
At Peggotty?
I don't know about Peggotty because I haven't been over
Oh.
there.
Oh, sorry, yeah, at Peggotty.
I think they've been up at Peggotty.
They've been up there on both sides too, the parking lot side and from the beach side.
Well, maybe we're talking about a different thing. Remember the signs that Corey got through a grant that had kids' drawings on them? And
Oh, yes, sorry, these are just basic signs. Yes.
yes, that's what I was thinking, since you said two of them, because there was only to be one of the illustrated ones at Peggotty.
Yeah.
But if you get a chance to take a look, it should be right at the main entrance. It's just on like a 4-foot beam and a cute little drawing, and it says "Stay off the dunes," basically. We can't message that enough.
I was running through the road behind Peggotty the other day and noticed the most severe flooding I've ever seen in the parking lot at Peggotty, to the point where I took a picture. I can share them with you after the meeting. There were kids like wading in it like a pool. It was so significant. I've never seen flooding like that at any other years. It was a complete, like all the way up through the lifeguard parking spots. It took over a good portion. I mean, that area always floods. I've never seen it so deep.
There was that huge storm that I walked around in like November. Remember there was that massive flooding.
That. Yeah.
And I took picture. I walked over to Peggotty then, and the entire parking lot was like 2 or 3 feet underwater.
Yeah.
And I wonder if and you could see the damage all summer, right? You see like where the water rushed through, and I wonder if that kind of opened the door to more regular flooding because of the erosion.
It could be. It might be I don't know if it's coming from the marsh rise behind or through because there wasn't really any significant I mean, we've had astronomical tides, but it really wasn't any significant storm. So I don't know if it's coming
from the
dune or from the marsh rise or both. I don't know. I was thinking maybe put it on Corey's radar. I was thinking ahead to the beach grass planting, and like if there's any reinforcement or something needed before we go in there and start to plant. I don't know, but I was shocked. I actually couldn't get through it with my sneakers. I had to like climb up around because it was so deep. It blocked that whole area by Jeff's house and further down.
All right, so Egypt Beach, I'm happy to say the shower was up this summer. There was something else. What the heck was it?
No bathroom there yet, huh?
You know, I'm not sure. I haven't been over there recently.
I thought that was gonna get. I understood from my conversation before that was gonna get piloted there.
Oh, you mean the
permanent one?
Yeah. Permanent one, yeah. Maybe not this.
Yeah.
Maybe it just didn't make it in for this.
That's definitely not over there yet. I would have heard about that.
Yeah, I would have expected he would have.
I know, like Andrea's not. The last time I went to mine it, which was probably like 2 weeks ago. I don't think the station ever went up, did it?
The water safety station, yes,
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say about Egypt. That although I wrote to Mike Breen, I called him, I begged him, I tried to embarrass him into it, frankly, because the mother of the Boy Scout that did it, that took his time, energy, and money to make it, I saw her at the farmer's market, and she wanted to know why they weren't up. And of course, I have no good reason, because there is no good reason that those weren't put out and put into use. It still makes me really unhappy to think about it.
Hmm.
But there's nothing we can do at this point. And not only did we not have the water safety stations, I had planned to install the cleanup stations on the side of each of them, which was another reason I was trying to get them to put them out. So I'm still not sure what to do about that, but
Could we invite? I don't know, I'm gonna.
I've asked him to come.
Provocative, could we
He
invite
does
someone
not
from the
like,
DPW to our
he does
next
not
meeting?
like attending meetings. I've asked him to. He was
Okay.
actually on the agenda once and totally blew it off. So it is what it is.
So
But it
the
was
water
really
safety
disappointing.
station, is that, what exactly is that? Can you?
An Eagle Scout approached us with a project to build wooden structures that house life-saving equipment like a
Oh.
ring, a hook,
Mhm.
life jackets. So if there were an emergency when the lifeguards weren't on duty and somebody was aware of the
Okay.
equipment being there, they could use it, hopefully,
Okay,
is our intention. And we started with mine in Egypt because they experienced the most rip currents and the most, ocean-facing tides.
mm-hmm,
And yeah, it was a really great thing. We had them out last summer and I don't think it was used, which is even better, but it was available. And then they were stored with the DPW for the off season and they never put them out. So.
Hmm.
Hopefully we can do better with that next year.
Yeah. I wonder if maybe we get ahead of it when we know that I'm just blanking on the word, the mats,
Moby Mat.
Moby mat, thank you. Maybe when we know that those are about to go out, we just start ringing bells, right?
Did you notice, Kate, if the 50-foot length at Hummerock was put out? Because I said the
I
same
haven't
exact
noticed.
thing,
Yeah, I
a lot of
haven't
disabled people are
gone to check since
writing on
I
it.
raised it. Yeah, no, I'm not sure.
Okay. All right. Anything else under beach reports?
Well, I know we're gonna get to the survey. Peggotty was voted the most littered beach, but I only go. Sometimes when I go for walks, I stop by, and then with my family, I always go at like 4 o'clock, and maybe like somebody comes through and cleans up because I've been there many times all summer, and I haven't noticed any trash at all.
Wow.
The mats, like every time I go, especially after reading the survey, I'm like, I must be missing something. And maybe somebody comes through every morning and cleans up. The garbages can be overflowing at the end of the day, but on the beach itself, I'm always amazed how clean and pristine, like how there isn't trash everywhere.
I will say, I was there a few weeks ago for like a kid meetup, and I was surprised by how much stuff was on the beach.
Yeah, me too. So that's crazy.
Little thing. It's all like family stuff, like fruit snack package and juice box straws, and like you can tell it's stuff that falls out of people's bags or whatever, like tissues and stuff like that, and it gets like caught in the sand. So I of course am like picking up, putting in the trash cans for the meetup, but I was actually surprised how much there was. So I wonder if it's like certain, like you're saying, certain after this was on like a Monday, I think. So it's like maybe it's after the full weekends.
So I mean, I can ask this question because I'm the new guy, and I know the answer, but I'm going to ask it anyway. So, like, when you go to other beaches in Florida and other places like that where the beach are the big draw, they'll have a tractor come by and actually physically rake the beach. Has that been discussed? Is it anyone willing to do it? I mean, I know these kind of answers as I'm asking these questions, but is there an opportunity to get the city to do that on like a weekly basis, even for some? You can't do it for all, obviously. There's a lot of rock, but like for Peggotty, you could do that. Minot, you could do it at the right tides. I mean, is that an option?
I've always heard that conservation is against raking.
Yeah.
Is the short answer.
And there's like the whole seaweed removal issue, right? Like if there's seaweed on the beaches, there's actually, we looked into before, there's actually a town policy that it can't be removed.
Oh, really? Without
approvals, yeah, for conservation reasons, environmental reasons. But I know what you're talking about, Chris. I think like Nahant actually does beach raking. I'm pretty sure. Like every morning they come through and rake the beaches.
Yeah, I mean a lot of beaches I've been to, they will, especially when it's a big draw. It's also a tourism thing, but they will, they'll rake them and come by with tractors in the mornings, and especially during peak season, just clean them up. It's nice.
Where would that go, Kelly? Like, where would we explore at least the answer to the question? The
Why don't we
conservation.
start with conservation? Since it's their, policy. All right, so moving to the resident survey. Rich, is it officially closed?
It's not closed, although we haven't gotten responses for like a month and a half.
Okay.
I don't, do you want me to share do you want to go through it, or do you want me to just give you highlights? I mean, I can share it with everybody, right? I don't know if everybody still has access, but.
Yeah, we definitely like to see it. I guess highlights is.
Yeah, I mean,
highlights and send the link, the data link after, so we can.
Yeah. So 130,
data nerd.
135 people responded. I wasn't mine is 42% favorite beach, followed by Peggotty at 24%. And then from there, it drops off to Egypt at 17. And then those are the three big ones. Most of the reason is because of the accessibility and the aesthetic, which makes sense. Most people drive, 80% of the people drive, 18% walk, and that's basically everybody. So that's not too surprising, I guess. People visit it weekly more than anything else. Weekly is either weekly during the summer or weekly year round. Very few, 17% daily. Oh no, I guess it's 30% daily, 55% weekly. Favorite beach is least favorite beach is Sand Hills, followed by Egypt. And that's for the same aesthetic and parking, which makes sense. The question around what relates to you as a beachgoer, and we talked about relax, hang out with friends, swim, be active. Those are some of the children, right? Those were the big. It's like split basically, quarter. The primary reason why people go. As I said, Peggotty's most littered, 44% called it the most littered, and which by far everybody else split the rest. So it's not even that one is probably the most the biggest single block. Everything else is more scattered. 65% of people know about the floating wheelchairs, with only 35% not knowing. So
that's good.
Right.
Increase,
I mean, when we started this conversation, I would have never. Floating wheelchairs has been an ongoing thing, Chris. And
I think the 2016 survey was like teens.
Oh wow.
If I remember that correctly, there was something about wheelchairs, and it was low. Awareness was low.
I think it was in between the last two meetings. I went to Peggotty and there was somebody using one.
Funny you say that. I was speaking with someone the other day at a pool party who filled out the survey. I won't keep her anonymous for some of her comments, but also told me she saw someone using the floating wheelchair, which is
great. There was like a lifeguard over there. There was somebody from there must have been somebody else there assisting. Yeah, it was great.
Awesome.
43% of people knew about the water safety stations, which I think is remarkable, seeing as they were up for a total of a month. But that's good. And I know we'll get to this, but 56% of people said they were not in favor of the passes, with 27% saying they are and 18% saying they have to think about it. And it's like half of the respondents are 55 and over, and half are between the ages of 25 and 55, basically. So it's a good mix. Good mix. Yep. And generally speaking, looking through the ad hoc responses on some of the events, we talk a lot about events. Most of the responses are kind of say the beaches like don't have additional events. Like there are people who say children's races, swim lessons, that kind of thing, but a lot of the responses are keep them as beaches. Yeah. So but there is food trucks, which already happened, but swim lessons I'd say would be, because it wasn't everybody had to write in, so it's not so organized, but swim lessons I would say would be the biggest thing that people want at the beach.
Great idea.
But I'll send the link out so everybody can read through. I did send it twice to be added to the weekly Scituate update, and never got a response. I can do it before I close it out. I can try one more time, but I don't know. Doing
I
it
was
twice.
just gonna say that, Rich. I never saw it in the weekly update.
No, I sent it
as a Scituate resident. If I didn't know that there was like a survey, I personally would not have seen it elsewhere. I'm not on Facebook. I didn't see, right? Like I wouldn't have known.
It was all, 11% said they heard it through email, which I assume somebody is sharing through email off of, but 82% was because I posted on Scituate Monthly, I think. That
Well,
was
I shared
almost
it through the I think I shared it through the association, so they might have been sending stuff out by email.
Yep. There you go.
Rich, did you send it to Jim Bedreau?
I CC'd Jim Boudreau and sent it to the other woman who's on the at the time I first sent it, Jim Boudreau, I got his out of office. The second time I sent it, he was there. Well, they were both in relatively quick succession. They were like, we're talking 3 months ago. I could do it again because there's been a gap here, but
maybe if you copy his assistant, Michelle Segazy.
That's who I sent it.
Okay.
It must have been the two of them. Yeah, I went to the main admin website and I sent it to two people.
Lorraine?
Well, that's too bad because I think that would generate some interest.
Yeah, let me try it again. Maybe I'll engage them more and say, hey, please respond if you got this kind of thing.
Yeah. Maybe say we're about to close the survey.
Right.
It's our last big push.
Yep. I'll do that.
Great.
But yeah, I'll send the results out to this group, and I'll reach out to them one more time in a more try to get a response.
Call to action.
Awesome.
Right. Exactly.
So the beach sticker proposal. We're going way beyond day passes. We have a lot to talk about as far as the beach sticker. Kate, do you want to talk about the day pass first?
Yeah, why don't I do a quick summary for Chris's benefit and just to catch everybody up between the emails and the ongoings. So Chris, we had originally long time back, there was a request to evaluate a sunrise beach sticker, which would essentially be an early morning, really low cost sticker for out of town residents to come in and use the beaches for things like surfing, walking, fishing, etc.
Okay.
That was supported by, I believe, select board members, but also some local businesses like Belson and Nori's Surf Shop, etc. As we started to explore it, we started to question the value of something of that nature, and it kind of morphed into an evaluation of our current visitor sticker program, and the visitor pass program as it stands right now is not advertised very well at all. I think there's one line in the website, the town website, which indicates that there's a daily pass allowance for Tuesday, Thursday at Peggotty Beach only, and you can get that through the harbor master. So we did some detective work to figure out, is this actually being used? What's the value? And in the summer of 2022, only 8 stickers were purchased. And so we realized, like, okay, this is clearly not working. There's been an ask, I think, probably stemming from the select board to evaluate the sticker, visitor sticker program, sunrise sticker program in general, in an effort to support sort of local economy, local business.
Yeah.
Is this working, right? How can we expand or change or whatever? So we had developed some revisions to the visitor sticker program to encompass all 5 days of the week, weekdays, no weekends, no holidays, and did some research with Airbnb listings and reviews and whatnot, and decided to expand it to all 5 beaches. So we had kind of socialized this idea through a couple of different committees, the harbor master, others, and we're garnering some support. But late breaking to when we were about to kind of package this and bring it forward, we got an email from one of the select board members that asked us to actually think maybe bigger and consider the out-of-town resident sticker process entirely. And so, Rich, actually, you might even be hearing some of this for the first time. So was it Karen Canfield, Kelly, I think, right? That emailed us?
Yeah, I was gonna talk about her email, yes.
Okay, why don't, if you can summarize that, because that's where we stand right now, where I think we this whole thing we stopped what we were doing because of this late breaking info. So now we need to kind of regroup and discuss our next steps.
Okay. I have a piece that I can add once we kind of move on that I think might apply to this as well.
Okay, perfect.
So along with Karen's comments, I met with Recreation and I have their comments too, and I am in favor of what they think. For out-of-town beach stickers, is it time to revoke this? Is it time to concentrate on our residents? Ticket sales have been swelling. And so she suggested we may consider getting rid of out-of-town beach stickers. As far as the Recreation Commission, they said that non-resident all beaches should be done away with, but they want to keep the non-resident Hummerock sticker. And I think that's kind of a fair compromise. So next up was beach sticker pricing, and I went back and found what I could for data. And the last increase to the non-resident sticker was in 2019. It increased from $75 to $100.
That's for the Hummerock only? Is that
Yes,
what you said? Sorry. The
Hummerock only. Oh no, not Hummerock only. Excuse
Because
me.
the beach stickers are $35, right, for residents?
Right. And so what they said was to increase the resident sticker from 35 to 50 and give seniors a break at 45. The town records don't go back far enough to show the last time it was increased. It's been at $35 for years. So I don't think raising it $15 is a big ask. Also, she talked about increasing the violation fees, and they're in favor of increasing them to $100.
I am too. And I
then-
say that because I've actually heard people say well, whatever, it's just that's what I would pay to go to another beach and parking anyway.
That's exactly what I was going to add.
Take the risk, right?
I had people tell me that they don't care, they'll just pay the 25.
Just pay the 20, yeah, whatever. I think it's $25 or $50, and it's well, that's what I would pay to go to a public beach somewhere else. So.
Right. So something I want to add to that, and I don't know if this is possible or not, I could ask my brother-in-law, he's on the police force, but is should we raise the price, say it's $100 for a violation for parking there? The question would be is if it's $100, would you make it $100 for a non-resident? And if you go in, if you're a resident, it goes back to 25. I don't know if that's legal or not. Honestly, it may not be. But I totally agree with raising the violation price, because people are just coming in and they're not going to bother to put a sticker on.
Okay, good. In terms of finances, increasing the resident sticker from $35 to $50 would generate an additional $115,000, $335. The non-resident sticker being increased from 100 to 125 would generate $5,000. Eliminating the non-resident all beach sticker would take away $45,000, but that's still a net gain of $75,335. So
now, can we ask that some of that net money go towards our beaches, please?
it's no joke. Yes. Definitely.
Give
Yes,
us all the beach grass, give us the mats, give us the bathrooms, like
we're coming to that. We're getting the beach grass.
I do want to talk a little bit about the removal of the non-resident sticker at non-Hummerock beaches. For Chris and maybe Rich, who this was an email, I think there's a big challenge for the treasurer's office to manage the out of town sticker process. I think what we were hearing, Kelly, there's just a lot of churn post like they sold out in 2 minutes, I think, this year online. And there was a lot of turmoil in the days and weeks post to try to manage through it. And I think it's labor intensive and resource intensive. All of that being said, I do, in the spirit of what we've been talking about here, I love the focus on residents. You all know I'm a big proponent of not making our beaches anything close to public beaches, but I do feel like we should allow some access and some cross-pollination from out of town people who live close, right? And I say that, I live on the border of Norwell. There are people I can throw a stone and hit a Norwell, but they can't go to our beaches, right? So I do think there should be some allowance of visitor out of town access, but I think we need to talk about what that looks like. And maybe that's where our day pass piece comes in. We get rid of the seasonal pass, but in place we add expand, right?
That's where I thought we were going on this, is we get rid of the non-resident pass, but do the program we talked about, maybe even charge more, but have it set up the same way, no holidays, no weekends. And it's those non-residents can just now pay by the day. And ultimately, if we charge 25 or $30, we're going to make more revenue off them, but we're still allowing some number of non-residents to access the beaches.
And we
five
cap
days a week.
it. We cap it at a certain number per day. That would be my proposal, because I think just pulling the rug out entirely is not necessarily what we've been talking. It's not in the spirit, at least, of what we've been talking.
I think the beaches should be open to people from the area and not just Scituate. I don't like the idea of making it only residents can go to the beaches, basically, is what we're saying. And I don't think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I agree.
So maybe there's a place for the expansion of the day pass program, but it actually gains steam and value in my mind, because it offsets the removal of the non-resident sticker entirely.
We'd have to know who's going to manage these sales and how we're going to publicize this information.
I think if it can be done all online, that is the ideal scenario, right? The idea of having to go to the harbor master's office to pick up a sticker to put on your car feels a bit archaic. But that being said, we'd have to explore the technology alternatives. And it would need buy-in, obviously, from the police who monitor the cars, from because if you remember that we had started the ball rolling and there was positive support from the Chamber of Commerce, from the harbor master, from as I talked to like local people and said, hey, do you know about the day pass? They're like, no. Like, okay, what if we expanded it in here? And even people who responded negatively on that survey, when I explained what I was talking about, they were like, oh yeah, that's fine. Oh yeah, sure, they can go on a Wednesday afternoon if they'll pay, and that money will go to the town. Great. So it is kind of an interesting, it's deeper than maybe what just pulling the sticker would be, but I do think it's worth digging into.
Yeah, I think it makes sense to have it. I mean, theoretically, if you go online, you apply for it, they charge your credit card right there, you print off your pass, it's capped at X number per day. The only thing, my first thought is, that's great. How do the police know that you didn't just save it from one day to the next or whatever? I mean, maybe I'm sure there's a way to do it.
It was in a meeting. Somebody brought it up in a meeting. So Connor brought it up to me, but then I think somebody else that we were going to move to scanning like a license plate database, and the police vehicles can go through and scan the license plates like really efficiently. And and they were supposed to run a pilot this summer that I'm not sure if they ever did or didn't, or how it would have worked. But theoretically, what Connor heard, Connor's an old member, but what he heard is if we move to that, then you can fill out a website. You can say it's good for this day. The database is downloaded to the police cars. The scanner will know that you have a day pass or not have a day pass for that day. And this whole thing could be like seamless. Yeah. But I don't know who we go to. I guess it's the police. Like, I don't know who we go to say, did you ever do that trial? Does it work? Are we going to really move to that or not? Right? Like, I don't know who has those answers.
I mean, I could ask my brother-in-law. I don't know if he'll know.
Yeah, I think it's the police that would check the outcome in the pilot, as you're saying. I think it's also the treasurer's office who would have to help set up this like online situation. That's like, it's the connection point between the two. In my mind, if we rolled out this revised program with the automated, like, that would make the whole thing pretty nice and easy. And then your 75,000 increases, with as many day passes as are allowable.
It would all go to the beach commission, right?
Yeah, right.
Oh no, we don't have a budget.
Yeah, I know.
It goes into a rolling, like the rolling
Fund.
sticker rolling funds that the DPW and rec can pull out of. Did my homework on that question, Kelly. I went back to the rules to be like, all right, who can actually touch this money?
That's it.
I also wonder if we are removing non-resident passes, is it time to put a timeline on the resident passes and really make them seasonal, May to October or something? That way, like, if someone wants to walk their dog on the beach in November, I know we've said police don't ticket, but we have evidence in previous conversations that in fact they have and they will. So maybe it's time to put like an expiration date on the resident stickers as well, so that we open it up and outside of seasons.
I think I wouldn't have thought of that. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
To make it official, right? Because you don't want somebody nervous about walking on the beach in April. They should be able to.
They should be able to, right?
Yeah, I agree completely.
I can write up some bullet points on what we've talked about and maybe garner some help in like figuring out what the next steps are for connection points. I'll just revise the slide deck we had, Kelly, that we were working on, and update it based on the latest.
Well,
Katie,
once we decide what we're recommending, we'll need to go to the select board. So we'll need to make a presentation. I know
Yeah,
you
I'd
started
like to
working on the
talk to
proposal for the day pass.
is it the treasurer's office and like to firm up the whole license scanning thing. If we have a timeline on that, it becomes like this becomes more real, right? Because I like the idea of going to the select board with a recommendation, but if we don't have the ability to like pull it through yet, like that, I feel like that's how things die in the water. Like, because we don't have the system to do it, right? We were trying to time this before. For some reason, November is in my mind.
Yeah, I was thinking November 1st to, I don't know when we'd start it.
Is the CP
May 1st, maybe?
we had to get some. Now I can't remember.
I think it was somebody who was
Oh,
in
the
the beach,
paper.
was in the
The
beach sticker
paper.
process. Yeah.
I'm looking at my notes. The paper with the sticker information goes out in November for purchase for the next season. That's why. Well, that's not a lot of time. Let me summarize where we landed and we can take it from there by emails.
I was just gonna say before saying, hey, there's no more non-resident beach stickers, but then saying, but you can get daily passes and you're totally fielding, it's like one of those.
It softens the blow a little, right?
You throw some things, right. We're loosening up the unimportant things while remaining.
Remaining focused on the important. I think that's how residents would see it, honestly. But maybe not so much the non-residents. But that's not where our focus is, right? Okay.
All right, so we'll all be following up on different pieces. That's great. Kate, did you ever hear from the EDC on that?
No, I have a couple. I kept pinging Sue. I think the last email I sent was last week, maybe. And I did not, because if you remember, we pulled like don't discuss in detail their proposal because we have to revisit it. But if you have general feedback on a visitor pass program, please like discuss and come back to us. I checked in with her twice and I haven't heard anything back. So I'll check in again.
She's a busy person.
I can tell. Yeah,
Respond.
I can tell.
She's a realtor in addition to doing.
Oh my goodness.
Committee work, so.
Okay, no problem. I'll just keep pinging her. End of summer, like as always, things get lost. I'll do that right now.
All right, so anything else on beach stickers currently? That brings us to bike racks. Chris, are you a bike enthusiast?
I am. At least I used to be. Not as much as I am now, but yeah, I used to ride a lot.
We've been trying to establish bike racks at each of the beaches because right now only Egypt has any bike racks, and even that is only a few bikes it accommodates.
Yeah.
And so while we were working on that, a bicycle commission was formed, and they've been doing a lot of work. And so basically, we need a liaison to the bicycle commission to attend their meetings and to work with them to probably fill out a CPC application to try and get it funded. So.
Okay. Yeah, I'm happy to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be great.
I'm not familiar with the CPC application or any of that, but I'm sure you all can help me with that.
Definitely. I'll be happy to help you with it. It's a lot simpler than you might think. It's pretty straightforward as far as applications go. And then you just have to attend some meetings in support of it. But I'm
Okay.
happy to help you with that. We all would be.
Okay,
They're gonna have a meeting next Monday. I'll send you the agenda for that after we get
Okay.
off. And Nancy Werner is the person that really formed the bicycle commission, and she's been very helpful. She's got a lot of slides already made up with the proposed locations. But I'll send you as much as I can, and I'll connect you with her.
yeah, that'd be great. Yeah. Yeah, that's a no-brainer.
Awesome. Yay.
Yeah, we should.
Welcome. Again, welcome. This is so great. Because Andrea had been working on it for a while, but she resigned recently. So
Okay.
it'll be taken over for her.
Yeah, that's fine.
And please, any way that we can do anything to help with it, just ask.
Okay,
There's been a lot of mails from Nancy, so I wouldn't expect you to wade through all of them. But I'll send you the most critical ones.
okay.
All right. Anything else on bike racks right now? Thank you, Chris. It's seriously
Yeah,
a big, big help.
no. That's why I'm here.
Great. The beach grass planting, I am delighted to say the Recreation Commission voted to fund it from the Beach Sticker Revolving Fund.
Woohoo.
There's been a purchase order issued. We're good to go for November 4th. Yay!
Hey, that's success.
North and South Rivers Watershed Association has confirmed that they'll be part of it. So
Great.
that's awesome. And we need to speak with Joby Norton at Mulaney's about sponsoring. And Kate, you have such a way with sponsors. Would you like to do that? I think
No problem. Yeah, I'm happy to do that.
Great.
Do you have his contact info from Andrea? Because I'd love to follow up on like a chain or something she had to. So I
She
don't come
didn't.
out of left
She didn't
field.
email. She actually called him.
Oh, she called him. Okay, I know
Yeah.
she knew. She has personal connection.
So
Whatever contact info you have, please send my way.
yes, I will. So yeah, again, that's November 4th, and it's gonna be part beach grass planting and part cleanup. Should be really fun. Last year we had about 80 people come out. A beautiful day for it.
It was a beautiful day.
We're kind of rolling the dice to see how November 4th will be this year. Push our luck.
Hmm.
The rain date will be November 5th, Sunday, November 5th, should the weather be inclement on the 4th. We can't keep it any longer because the plants need to get into the ground. So
Which
I
beach?
hope it's not a rain day because I'm running the South Shore Half Marathon that morning, so I would not be
oh
able to.
wow.
Oh.
Peggotty.
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 Although it's at 7:30, so maybe if I run fast.
All right. Floating beach wheelchairs. I was shocked when I went to the Recreation Commission meeting. They just bought a 4th chair for mine. The Commission on Disabilities bypassed us, Rich. Remember how Josh Sigworth said, let's talk about this, and then he didn't say anything back.
I sure do. I mean, but this is where it was headed. I'm not surprised.
Yeah. So I think I mentioned that Sandy Johnson at Goodies in the Harbor was doing a fundraiser for a floating beach wheelchair, and she's got the money, she's ready to go. And Recreation says we can't take any more. We don't have any storage for any more chairs. So if anyone has any ideas, the Moby mats can't work because it's $2,500 per 50-foot length, and we've only got 1,000 raised.
Kelly, do you know? So they got one for Minot. Do you know what their plan is in for storing it?
They were going to store it at the Recreation Department
and
you
just
could
bring it
go
over.
pick it up. They actually can't move it themselves. You'd have to pick it up as the user, which I think is a real crummy system. If
I
to
mean-
think of anything better.
It's an awful system.
I mean, okay. I have comments I'm going to keep to myself.
No, you shouldn't.
I
That's
just
how things change.
if you're getting access to the need for a floating wheelchair, you most likely don't have like the facilities yourself unless you are truly wheelchair bound and have like the whole point is to provide easy access on a beach. To have to go through the rigmarole of like
Do they have to go pick it up and bring it to the beach?
reserving, organizing, filling out forms in advance to go get it, pick it up themselves, bring it to
Giving
the
their
beach.
driver's license.
So I completely agree, although with the one that I saw at Peggotty, there seemed to be some sort of accessibility vehicle and person helping the individual. So I don't know where that resource came from, how it all came together, but in this one case I saw one day, there seemed to be like professional help outside of
Which
the
is
lifeguards,
great, which
giving
is
them
great
internet.
if you have that. The example I have was an elderly person whose daughter was helping her. And it's like, what that becomes non-existent if you require, right?
Yep.
Ugh. So there's no storage they're not gonna do the like pod situation at Minot or anything. They're gonna store it at rec.
They don't have space for it. is
Okay,
what they
I know
said.
that was the question before.
But it's sort of a similar thing. Richard, didn't you ask them about usage and it was really low numbers?
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it was last summer was 8, something like that.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Total between the 3
Oh,
pairs.
and they bring it out at Egypt and Peggotty, I know,
Pegotty's
so you
out.
think people would see
Daily.
it
Yep.
and know
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, seen the Peggotty.
Although, and I think I wrote to Kelly, I also think about how I may go in the water. I go to the beach, but I may go in the water one time all summer. So we most people don't go in the water very often. So I guess maybe it's not terribly surprising.
All right, so beach wheelchairs. I feel like we could probably take this off the agenda at this point since we're not going to be adding any.
Yeah.
And if anybody can think of a good charitable reason for Sandy to spend $1,000, we're open to ideas because she's done the fundraiser and is really disappointed she can't get the floating wheelchair.
What about the fencing for the beach grass? I think wasn't Jeff kind of like helping supply some of that on his own with neighbor support? Like, is there anything around the November 4th? Like dune fencing or anything that
Well, I know that the DPW was supplying Jeff with the fence, and I know
Okay.
that there was a surplus of it. Rich, have you noticed lately what condition the fence is in at Peggotty?
Look good to me.
yeah, it's been okay. I think.
Yeah.
So that should be okay.
That's the only thing I can think of.
If anyone has any ideas, please let me know because she really wants to do some good with this money. Wow, so schedule the next meeting. That's gonna be October 11th, Wednesday, October 11th at 6 p.m. Chris, in general, is this a good time slot for you?
Yeah, this is good. Usually, I mean, I'll have some kids running around and all, but I'm usually, this is good.
Great. All right then. Any other business that could come before us?
I have a question. If you have an update, Kelly, you might not about the installment of the beach signs. Do we
I
know when
don't
that's
have an
supposed to
update.
happen?
I don't have an update. It's actually on my list of things to nag someone about, so.
Okay, just curious because that's all approved, right? It's just
Yeah.
the actual
Yep,
making an
approved.
installment.
Purchase order issued,
Okay.
definitely underway.
Just
It's
curious
actually
because
been quite a while though, I think 2 months since we
it
gave
has
them,
been, yeah.
so I'm going to
Yeah.
ping them.
I was gonna make a snarky comment.
Go for it.
No, just that things take time. That's all I have to say.
Yeah,
Things seem
they
to
do.
take time. Yeah.
They do. Hand carving a sign takes time.
Yeah.
So, all right, anything else? Thanks everybody for being here. Do you have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
And do I have a second?
Second,
Great. All in favor? Aye. All right. Have a great night, everybody.
Thanks. Nice
Take-
meeting you, Chris.
take care. Yeah, nice to meet you, Chris.
Oh,